Tell me, why do we not just march whole legion into Rome and push Lurco off throne? It has special chair for man in charge, does it not? Call it what you will. It is not a thing to be done lightly. You have chance now to make things better. Rome is not as I had hoped, before I saw it with my own eyes. There is so much squalor and suffering. In Wild, it is possible for man to have dignity, even in poverty. In city, this is not so. I think it is not so likely that taking Rome by force will end with power going to people. Power will go to you. Anyway, I don't think I will stay here after we are done. It's time for me to face my past and move on.
This is a bad idea. People will still be able to oppose you. And this time, you'll have to kill a lot of people, not just those who deserve it. I wouldn't count on that. The world is full of foolish people. Last time I saw Lurco, he was angry, but he was not in a panic. There's another trick up his sleeve. I'm certain of it. There is always a way. The years I've spent with you taught me that over and over again. It's what I would do. Lurco is a dangerous foe because he knows exactly when to lie and when to tell the truth. He will tell the Senate that we have murdered his entire Praetorian Guard. You know that's not a lie. I am no politician, but as far as I can tell, the difference between a patriot and a traitor is rather blurry in the Senate. I'm good at killing people, and you somehow keep attracting people in need of killing. What I've done for you still seems less than what you've done for me.
We should move. Ask yourself, what is my enemy doing right now? He who is on the offensive always has the advantage. I'm a warrior, not a strategist. I simply think we should act now while we have the initiative. He who strikes first usually wins. Then we shall suffer, but it will not be due to your actions. I am no simple service. We chose to follow you, whether we like it or not. A man carves his own destiny. If I shall suffer as a result, I am not in your place, and for that I am happy. You are not my enemy. Lurco is. If I was Lurco, I would try to kill you now. He has everything to lose if he does not. I am a free man. I do not follow. Our paths simply aligned. That is why I was there. In my experience, the gods of this land are not to be trusted.
Domine? Your frustration is natural, but I think the personal stakes involved cloud your mind. Surely you have solved more difficult riddles in your life. Know that we have done all we can. It is time to cast the die and see how it lands. That's a valid plan. Lurco will surely not expect it, and I believe therefore he will be ill-prepared to counter such actions. However, it would also imply a lack of trust in the very institutions we are trying to protect. Furthermore, it will involve a great deal of combat, and quite likely our death. There is no such thing as a better death. I have lived a full and bountiful life. This old man has witnessed so many things. Certainly, there are some unresolved questions in my mind, but isn't life a series of unresolved questions anyway? Young man, I've been taking care of your family since long before you were born. Now focus on the task ahead and make sure they never need me again. If you think I've been following you because I'm your sowers, you're still a child in mind. I've been free for a long time now.
We are at the end now. I think we have enough evidence to get that bastard exiled forever. We will stride into the Pomerium as civilians once more, with pride in our eyes. What do you mean? Walk into Rome with swords in our hands? That would make us look like villains. Justice should never serve the interests of one person. That is not an option. We'll need to make sure everyone understands what happened. We cannot count on the facts to speak for themselves. They will certainly take some convincing. It is unfortunate that we had to kill a few Praetorians. But let us not forget the fact that they were criminals. It's been a pleasure, genuinely. You always stood by my side, even if it was against your own interests. I will never forget that.
Shall we store your weapons at the villa, as usual?
Are you sure? What makes you think you can win a battle of words against Lurko?
Certainly, but keep in mind he has enough evidence to condemn all of us as well. Even if we can destroy him and get him exiled, it may well cost us our own lives. Are you ready to pay that price?
We can die fighting. We can simply find him and kill him.
You're speaking of carrying out a coordinated assault on Rome and the Senate. It is no small task.
The difficulty of the task is irrelevant. We would need to cross the Rubicon with our arms and soldiers to achieve this. It would be a betrayal of Rome herself. That is because it would spell the end of Rome. Our great society is held together by rules and traditions. Being virtuous is easy when moral actions benefit you. Everyone's good and kind when it's convenient. What reveals one's character is what you do when it's not convenient. Cross the Rubicon this way, and I can no longer stand by your side. That is unfortunate.
It seems you have reached a decision. I was worried you might say that.
A pity I placed my trust in you. What a disappointment you turned out to be.
Silence! You are behaving like chickens in a basket. Remember who you are. You are weak tricks, undefeated. We will win.
The men are unsure, Legate. Especially now that Aquilinus left us. Many are having second thoughts.
Which means we'll have to plan this even more carefully.
We must be quick and deadly. The Legion must move in and take control of the city. Don't be naive. We have broken one of the oldest and most important taboos of the Republic. We are invaders of our own city now.
Disbanded, as Walktrought was meant to be. What we've done breaks with all tradition.
I think he made his reasons abundantly clear. Maybe. But what if you can't? I understand the choice you have made. I get the idea of temporarily sowing chaos to instill order in the long term. It's a price we have to pay. But don't let Kaizo's life be a part of that payment. We've all been through too much together. She's certainly a valuable hostage. We should solve that problem before we proceed.
We will need to move quickly if we want to grab your sister. A handful of us could do that. I believe this to be a matter of life and death. For Skywell lies undoubtedly holding her hostage right now.
I wonder if you'd feel the same way if any of us were in her place.
That they do.
We will need to send a small group to Skyweller's villa, regardless. We will capture him and liberate your sister if possible. With that out of the way, we can focus our attention on Lurko, our primary target.
He's not the only problem. We'll need to control public opinion. Eliminating the dictator will not be enough. We must take care of the Pontifex Maximus as well. As the religious leader of Rome, he has the power to mobilize people against us.
I think he's not your biggest fan. You know he's held a grudge since the Asia campaign.
Keep in mind Cotta is an Optimus. What we've done goes against everything he believes in.
Everyone believes in one god or another. Point is, people listen to him. Only him and the Vestal Virgins are allowed to enter the inner sanctum. But old traditions didn't stop us from bringing Walktrought across the Rubicon, so...
We can be very convincing.
It's a good plan. Once Cotter is out of the way, there is no need to worry about the opposition he might drum up against us.
Once we're ready, we'll need to secure the Senate with overwhelming force and neutralize Vitellius Lurko. Agreed. This will never be over as long as he is at large.
It is very likely that the Senate will be full of senators. Vitellius Lurko might use them to shield himself. Keep in mind, we may also encounter ordinary citizens trying to protect the Senate against our assault.
I think we're way past careful. At this point, it's us or them.
I believe there's not much else to discuss. The longer we wait, the more we risk failure.
I expect nothing but surprises.
You don't enter the arena expecting to lose. We will win, as always.
I believe there's only one way to find out.
The risk is great. But if we win, to rule all of Rome, that would make it all worthwhile.
As you command.
I should have expected this, you arrogant bastard of a fallen family. What about all the things you have done? Are you willing to burn down the Republic? The only threat Rome needs saving from at present is yourself. All this bloodshed. And for what? Then I will gladly shed mine to preserve that greatness. Let's finish this.
What a fool. We only came to arrest him, and he made us do this.
He knew he could not win. He wanted to die.
What's done is done. Let's get back to the villa and plan our next move. Hopefully the other team has managed to control the crowd, or this will have all been for nothing.
How dare you! Don't you know who I am? Hey, who's this? Hercules! Kill them too! This is the last of them.
Enough of this! Stop!
What did you think I was doing? She is my wife. Of course I've been protecting her.
Forgive my husband's tone. We thank you for your timely assistance, brother. I don't understand why these lictors were trying to arrest me.
Not lictors. Look at their clothes. These are legionari. Ferrata.
lost your mind. Oh, may Minerva bring your sense back. You have started a civil war.
I know the feeling. Let us hope your actions do not come back to haunt you as it happened to me. I must get Liliana and the children to safety, but my brother will not stop. You understand? Please do not kill him. For all the evil he's done, Weebius is still my blood. Besides, living in the shadow of his own failure is a fate worse than death for him. You are an exemplar of Roman virtues. I shall never forget this. Wale.
With the Pontifex Maximus out of the picture, our legion has been able to enter the Pomerium. Walktrought now controls all roads leading into and out of Rome. That's troubling news. I'll put the word out among our Centuriones and gather more information about this. If Ferrata is mustering, we'll have a big problem on our hands.
We should slow down and think. Haste will be our enemy now.
The city is still not under our complete control. As the current consul, Lurko remains a formidable threat. Our actions have forced even those who hated him before to take his side.
There are many important men now trapped in this city, with good reason to move against us, politically or even militarily. Let's hear some names.
He commands no less than 4 legions in Hispania. If he somehow finds a way to bring word to them...
We need to take him out.
Or win him over.
If possible. He's a shifty one. There's no knowing where he might be.
I'm told he hides in the Campus Martius. Perhaps we can pay a visit and rid ourselves of him for good.
It seems like Gowinus would prefer to be on the winning side. That we can use to our advantage.
Are you kidding? There's no way Cato will support you after what we've done.
Then we must take them out as well.
Let us not rule out any alternatives to violence just yet. Given a compelling argument, we may sway the senators to join our side.
We don't have much time. We'll have to split up.
You are needed here, Legate. Our true quarry awaits us at the Senate. We have preparations to make.
We should think carefully about who we send where. We may yet be able to solve this situation without bloodshed. If that is what you wish, I will do my utmost.
It will be just like old times.
That's not going to be pleasant.
I have a feeling the end will be messy. We will need all the help we can get. We control the peripheries of the city, but the inner districts are still putting up stiff resistance. Clearing a path to the Senate may prove very difficult. Walete, may Fortuna be on your side.
Yulia Kalida? I should have known. Prepare yourself, Kikero. Our death has arrived. If you survive an encounter with this woman...
Let me guess. You want us as sponsors, defending your cause in front of the Senate. You want the Optimates to support the new king.
Never.
I believe her, Kato. She may be a murderer, but she has conviction.
Why should I trust you, Yulia, when you don't trust the people? Perhaps he is, but they did elect him consul. Do you think you have the authority to overrule democracy?
Truth is fairly relative. It depends on who's talking and who's listening. That doesn't change anything. The Republic will not be bought and sold for your favors.
Yet by breaking the rules, you prove him right. I have no reason to believe that. I can't support someone who disregards all virtue in the name of vengeance. I believe we have exhausted all lines of inquiry. Still yourself, Kikero. Our time has come to die for the Republic. I need support! Aid me, and let us shed blood together!
Are you hurt? I need aid soon, lest I perish.
Let us crush them together! I can't handle this on my own!
Dog shit.
vision is darkening. I think I'm dying. Kill you all! My time has come. I require help.
Join the fight! You're missing out!
End is in sight, but don't let down your guard, my friends.
personal accountant, physician, and administrator of Legatus...
I know, Cineros. There are times one's reputation precedes oneself. Judging by what's happening to the city as of this moment, I'd guess it's either to kill me or to enlist my aid. Let us listen to your words, then, hoping they won't fail you. Let us make one thing clear. You have created this conflict. I am merely watching things unfold as of now. My mind is not made up yet. In politics, everyone thinks of their own profits first. Why should I join you instead of him? Very well. Tell your Dominus I will remain on the sidelines. You have my word.
Stay back, Bestia Tabat. You are surrounded by my best gladiator archers. You're bluffing. I paid them handsomely. Some people are foolish indeed to fight for the losing side. All right, I'll humor you. Let's say you have me outnumbered. The fact that we're still talking means I have something you want. Let's hear what you have to say. Handsomely. My fee can be very handsome indeed. Can your legatus part with, say, 10,000 denarii? We shall see!
I do remember you. You paid a fair price for our work.
It's bad luck and worse business to kill a former employer. Come, let's leave. This stingy son of a dog can fight his own fights.
We're gonna have some fun.
with me. There is strength in unity.
Arise and fight on, fellow warrior!
Not that I need any help, but...
Keep up with me!
It's over then. Typical.
Come to my aid, you useless mules!
Take my hand.
We've won! There's just one left!
These people are so weak. It's too much. It's too much!
The hour of reckoning is at hand. A grim task awaits us.
It's time to formally declare martial law. Not every citizen will take kindly to that, I know I wouldn't. So let's make sure we control the market when the news is read. Unlikely. Formulating a plan takes time, a resource we have so far denied them.
Many of the senators who still oppose us employ gladiators for their own protection, and other less moral purposes. Of course, they all have their own lictors as well.
Depends on how fearful they are. The more cautious among them will hold their people back, to defend their own villas or to fortify the Senate.
There's more. We've received reports that individual men from Legio Ferrata have taken up arms against us. We believe they have retrieved their equipment from the Gallic War.
All of Ferrata would be no match for a single cohort of weak tricks. A few scattered legionari will pose no threat.
It's not just about the legionari themselves, Bestia. They might rally the citizens against us.
Our legion and theirs did not exactly get along. But still, our people will not be happy to fight Roman legionari.
Let's just say there were some dissenting voices. No one will hear those voices again.
It's a revolution. As I understand, these things rarely happen without some bloodshed.
A declaration of martial law is just so many words. It means nothing unless we speak from the very heart of Rome. We need to be at the Senate.
The consul is holed up at the Senate with his remaining supporters. It may be the most heavily defended building in the world at this point. But you're right, Soe. To the best of our ability, there are just too many streets to control. Rome is a huge city. The Forum Romanum and the rest of the Capitolium is still contested. Only those few who have taken up arms for Lurco of their own initiative. Unlike Legio Victrix, they were disbanded as per tradition. It would be very difficult for Lurco to quickly muster his forces.
I would really think thrice before underestimating that man, Prime. Easier said than done. Sure. Lurco fortified himself at the Senate, and what awaits us is probably the toughest fight we have ever seen. But that's no reason not to be cheerful about it.
The Forum is heavily fortified indeed. Our legionari are trying to keep the Capitolium secure, but the consul called upon the citizens of Rome.
They are eager to defend their republic, with their lives, if necessary.
That seems like a dangerous generalization. In their eyes, we're nothing but bandits now. We must make our declaration of martial law near the Senate.
Even the few stragglers who took up arms again on their own initiative could scuttle our plans. But since we control the access routes, we can funnel them to a specific position.
Where a dedicated group of defenders can shut the trap and kill them all. A sound plan. If we can spare another group for the protection of the newsreader.
The most difficult task will be the main assault. You must fight your way through all their defenses to reach the Senate. Today, we will fight to the death. Tomorrow, they will sing about us. All right. Time is of the essence. No more talk. You have all heard the legatus. Prepare for the final push.
Good people of Rome, martial law is in effect for the safety of all citizens. Groups of more than 3 men shall not congregate in public spaces. A curfew is in effect. Any person found on the streets after dark will be subject to summary judgment.
That's preposterous! Who is making these decrees?
Long live the legatus of Legio Victrix.
I'm a citizen of Rome. We have rights. Down with you and your legatus.
Vitellius Lorco is consul, not you. Your decrees are worthless.
Seeking only peace and the unnecessary shedding of Roman blood, Webius Vitellius Lurco has been publicly implored to accept truce and lay down his arms.
Take your truce and stick it up your ass.
Let's show them how we feel about their curfew. Who's with me?
Form up! Protect the newsreader!
That's right! Please protect the newsreader!
We're citizens! We have rights!
Out of the streets! It's not safe! I've got this direction covered.
Those Legionari, those are Ferrata's colors. Lurko's men are here.
I bet if we kill enough of them, the crowd will disperse.
You're right. We may not even need to kill the citizens.
The other team has things under control.
We have a task. Let us focus on it.
We can slip in here, through the alley. There's more cover that way.
people of Saturn!
If anyone moves, they get an arrow. I've got this direction covered.
We're here now!
Ready to loose the sword. Follow me for Rome! If anyone moves, they get an arrow. Come on! Hit me! I can do this! Until you see the whites in their eyes!
thought this
I've got this direction covered. I'm ready to loose as soon as I say.
To go on!
You're missing the fight!
We just need to reach the Senate.
Please follow my finger. Yes, you'll be all right.
us by surprise.
Did anyone see where she went?
Help me, and I shall vanquish our enemies!
Care of me, and I shall slay many of your foes.
Aid me now, please! It's all right. You're going to live. Can someone prop this old man up?
Come on, you big sack of wheat!
until they come to us. We shall be triumphant! Come to my aid, you useless mules!
Here you go. Be careful next time.
ready?
I need help to go on!
Come on, admit you needed that.
That's it!
Boring.
To quit!
came from. Anyone moves, they get an arrow.
path is clear. The Forum Romanum is ours for the taking.
Nothing stands between us and Lurko now. Are you ready?
Good. Let's go kill a tyrant.
Respect the sanctity of the Senate. Leave now or you will regret it. You know I cannot do that.
They can't do it because they have a sense of duty and honor. We've been waiting for you. I hoped you wouldn't come. Foolishly, perhaps. Whatever's necessary. You have already crossed the first line. I will not let you cross the last. "10 years isn't long for a friendship in the grand scheme of things. But we've been through a lot together. This is just a step too far. I can't accept that. That is an excuse that cowards use to justify abandoning their principles.
His confidence is wavering. Keep pushing him. I think he can be convinced.
Xeneros is a Serwis. He will go where you tell him to go.
Nothing has ever prevented me from leaving, Centurio. I am here because stopping Lurko is the only way to save Rome from tyranny.
I am sorry, old man. Perhaps I have misjudged. I just don't understand how you can willingly take part in this mayhem.
Don't let his silver tongue talk you into abandoning your principles, Centurio. Remember who you are, what you stand for. We will defend the Republic together.
The Republic? You killed some great men to get control of this city. Cato, Cicero, yet you left Pompeius alive. No politicians and lawyers to get in your way, only generals, military allies. Is that right? You offered them an olive branch, and they refused. Admirable. Yet, in the grand scheme of things, their deaths didn't even slow you down, did they? Very well. I shall fight with you. But know this, the moment you turn into a tyrant, I will be the first to stop you.
Never trust a traitor, my father used to say. This will not change anything, you know. Just give up. I will let your friends go, and grant you a merciful death. You dare leave your consul's side? Cowards! I suppose you think that honor will be yours. Look at where we're standing! At what you're doing! It is fascinating that you remain so blind to your own hypocrisy! No one is laughing. You think you can murder a consul in cold blood and get away with it? They will crucify you. Surely this can't be your plan. Not even you can be this reckless. Look around you. See who it is you're fighting. Romans! All of us!
them closer. I'll shoot as soon as I see them.
Kenturio, don't do this!
I thought you were on our side!
Stand down!
There was no glory in this battle.
Maybe we have gone too far.
History will not judge us kindly for this. Come on, let's deal with that son of a dog.
Can you not hear the angry mob outside? Can you hear the cries of the helpless that you swore to protect? When will you understand that everything you fought for... What is happening?
The roof is falling. Seek cover!
The fury of the gods.
Is everyone all right?
We're all fine, but not everyone in here was so lucky.
We have to get out of here.
Good. One final push.
You madman! Will nothing make you see reason? Come then, claim your vengeance! The future of the world is at stake. Rome is a beacon of light in a vast dark sea of barbs.
Your arrogance is boundless. You have visited the lands outside Rome, yet you have never truly experienced them.
The best hope for this republic. Without my efforts, you will succumb to sectarianism and corruption.
Such problems are endemic to all attempts at democracy, but they can and will be conquered. Without you, Lorco.
in service of common greed! Everything I did was for Rome!
Fair lady.
Kaizo, I will stab you.
Howl like the dog you are.
If you defeat me today, you will only have to take my place. Without true leadership, the Republic will be destroyed.
And so what? He will be a far better ruler than you. Long live the Emperor of Rome!
I can't hold them all!
There will always be more obstacles for me to conquer, and I will conquer them. Tiberius, you really are a sight for sore eyes. Where's your family, traitor?
Your hubris has awaited Nemesis for a long time, Livius. I am here to assist my family. But that's not you.
You would betray your own brother for the sake of a whore! Let us cleanse this bloodline, then.
Didn't see that coming, huh?
I still got it.
I'd appreciate some help.
Not that I need any help, but
there'll be time to bleed later.
I am the best hope for this republic! Without my efforts, you will succumb to sectarianism and corruption!
such problems are
Assistance, I will hold still.
and will be conquered without you.
something they won't expect!
May I request some help, please?
You're a dangerous man!
We've lost! Let's get out of here!
You've been dreaming of this since the day your father died. By Jupiter's beard! When will you finally understand it never was about you or your sad excuse for a family? I had plans. Great plans for Rome. The Republic is crumbling, but the establishment always hates the revolutionary. Your father was a spy, a tool of the state. He fought for the status quo. I was forced to eliminate him to save Rome. Maybe. What's clear is that somebody must take charge. The point was never becoming the king. It was that Rome needed a king in the first place. Someone who could cut through the endless dogshit coming out of the Senate. The blatant tribalism, the spiteful self-sabotage, the bribery and greed. We need someone who is willing and able to make difficult and unpopular decisions. Clearly. And then what? Will you parade me through the streets in your triumph? Unlike you, I have dignitas. I am a consul of Rome. I shall not die like a filthy barbarian. I shall die like a true Roman. It seems the part I intended my role to be in molding the first emperor of Rome. When I am dead, your reign will begin.
Salve, Rebius. I don't have much to say. Let me repay you for manipulating me and exploiting me your whole life.
Tiberius, you fool. You weakling. And now, you'll do the dirty deeds of...
Up!
It's finally over. It almost seems unreal.
So am I. I hope the underworld has nice baths.
You have violated every single rule we set out to protect in the first place. You have killed Romans. Senators, even.
Kaiso was right. You do sound like Lurko.
We must submit ourselves to the judgment of the Senate, as we discussed. Only then can we begin to undo some of the damage we have caused.
Are you stupid? Did you hit your head in battle? We will all be killed.
Not all of us. He will probably be condemned to death indeed, but we will not be punished as harshly.
We should not get punished at all. We should take over Rome and live like kings.
The Anira is right. Surrender will only lead to execution.
But, Magister, surely morals dictate that he should surrender. Doing anything else would be immoral, and thus make him a lesser man.
He is like my own child. He would be a lesser man, but a man who is alive.
They will not just let us go. We all attacked.
Well, I certainly do not want to be executed.
May I remind you what you have just said about the expected behavior of a moral individual?
I don't consider myself a particularly moral man yet.
I don't care about the philosophy of it. If you stay here, more people will die and the chaos will never end. We don't have to turn ourselves in if you're afraid of the consequences. I'm sure Cleopatra will protect you if you flee to Egypt.
That is still immoral, for you would be avoiding judgment. But I'd feel glad if that happens. Therefore, I am a lesser man. But I feel good about being one.
We will follow your lead, of course, whatever you do. If we run, we can never return to Rome. But I will be by your side. Please don't do this. I love you, but surely we did not stop a would-be king only to replace him with another.
My debt to you is repaid. I certainly don't owe you any support if you try to overthrow the Republic.
I admire your principled stance, Domine. But do you understand the consequences? They are likely to execute you. Are you sure you want to do this?
Don't do this, please. I feel like I just found you. We can just leave. Together. This is the right choice. We continue. Onwards to new adventures.
I'll make the arrangements, Domine. As you wish. Let us leave at once.
There are some who say it was a sudden change of heart that turned a would-be tyrant from his throne. Most accept the common story. A man pushed to his very limit by the machinations of a corrupt consul. A republic on the brink of becoming an empire, vulnerable to the ambitions of unscrupulous men. A desperate, unlawful action that saved the Republic at the cost of one man's career and reputation. Although in one sense the legatus never returned to Rome, in another, greater sense, he never left. With his earth-shaking actions, he had set Rome upon a course that would guide it through history for centuries to come. It is said that he retired to a palatial estate in Egypt, overlooking the lush banks of the Nile. He had turned his back on the republic that he had saved, but he became instead a close and trusted advisor to Queen Cleopatra, under whose rule Egypt soon regained its independence and sovereignty from Rome. As his dominus left Rome in exile, old Cineros chose to stay behind. There was just enough time for the Servus to get the manumission he had been promised, before he was left to his own devices. For a time, he stayed with Liwiana at her invitation, until he had earned enough denarii as a teacher of Greek to get a small place of his own. He continued to teach her children, but this time in exchange for payment. Cineros still had many powerful and influential friends in the city, and thanks to them he enjoyed access to well-stocked libraries and well-educated conversation. In his final days, he spoke much of Greece. He seemed to be waiting for one last chance to lay his troubled past to rest. But that opportunity never came. Cineros died without ever seeing his homeland again. With nothing left to keep him in Rome, Caeso followed his friends into exile. Though his love for the Republic never diminished, he always seemed to be in his element abroad, as though he had finally found a way to go away on a military campaign that would never end. When his friends stayed put for too long, he would leave for extended periods of time to visit distant friends or take job as escorting merchants on long trips. But he always returned to his friends with new stories to tell and new riches to share. Even though it began in exile, Callida's second marriage turned out considerably better than her first. She followed her new husband to Egypt, where she valiantly fended off Cleopatra's advances on him. She did not take quickly to the opulent luxury of the royal palace, but eventually she did get used to it. Callida was happy to find that it was possible to be a wife and a mother without giving up the things she loved. She taught their children archery and horseback riding, and nobody ever again looked down on her for her unwomanly pursuits. Bestia returned to Africa to look for his sister again. Eventually, he did find her, and together they returned to Mauritania, where they settled down in an idyllic village and started new families of their own. In this new, quiet life, Bestia learned the true value of happiness. Deianira followed her friend into exile. Rome had never quite lived up to her expectations, and she was glad to leave it behind. Eventually, she returned to her homelands of Scythia, where she reconnected with her family. But she always remained in contact with her friends, visiting frequently with new stories and exotic spices from distant lands. Vitellius Scaevola left Roman politics and moved to Upper Latium with his wife Liviana, where they raised their children together in peace. With Mithridates dead and his sons lacking his ability to rule, Pontus was soon annexed by Rome. The region never again rose to prominence. With Zenobia in charge of Musia, it became once more a peaceful part of the Roman province of Asia Minor. With her focus on trade and strong ties to the neighboring regions, her people enjoyed a period of great prosperity. Without the leadership of Damianos, the rebellion of his gladiators soon spiraled out of control, beginning what became known as the Servile War. Escaped slaves terrorized the Roman citizens throughout Thracia until the wealthy senator Crassus brutally defeated them and crucified thousands along the road towards Rome. Lunia's death sent Nozomenes spiraling into a fractious conflict as greedy elders from minor tribes attempted to fill the void her passing had left behind. Though Queen Cleopatra attempted to bring the region under control, her attentions were too divided, the conflict too great for her to manage. Rome was forced to send more legions to enforce peace and stability with an iron fist. Though Africa Proconsularis eventually saw peace again, the traditions and culture of the Berber population were lost forever. Queen Cleopatra Philopator was, from the day of her coronation, a greatly beloved Queen of Egypt. Revered and admired by the population, she spent many of her days traveling up and down the Nile to visit her subjects and address their troubles and concerns. Under her rule, Egypt remained a powerful and prosperous nation and a strong ally of Rome. The fruits of the Nile flowed freely to the people of the Republic. After traveling all across Africa for many years, going wherever her instincts took her, Rhea eventually returned to Memphis and to the service of Tener at the Temple of Ubasti. When her mentor passed away, Rhea naturally assumed the mantle as High Priestess of the Cat Goddess. Though the old faith was dwindling, she was greatly beloved by many, and her temple prospered, always home to many, many, many cats. With Diwydiachus once more assuming rulership of the Aedui, the tribe maintained a strong alliance with Rome, and through it, they greatly prospered. With the aid of the Aedui, Gallia slowly unified under Roman rule, and civilization soon began to creep into those lands in the form of paved roads, aqueducts, and fortified Roman towns. In his old age, did the Druid ever regret hastening the absorption and suppression of his own faith and culture? We will never know. The defeat and death of Vercingetorix had reduced the once mighty Awerni tribe to a myriad bickering chieftains. Without his vision, his charisma, and his resolve, there was no unifying figure to rally around, and no way for Gallia to resist their slow but inevitable assimilation into Rome. Perhaps if Vercingetorix had lived, some of their culture or religion might have survived in some form. But surely they must be grateful that civilization at last was brought to their lands. In this work, I have done my best to recount the history of this fascinating period, truthfully and accurately. As I have scoured the sources and spoken to many who claimed to have heard the story from someone who was there at the time, one thing that has stood out to me is the pivotal moments along the way where our story could have turned out very differently. Might the legatus and his friends have remained in Rome to influence its politics in the years to come? Certainly, when Legio Victrix crossed the Rubicon, the only way to remain in Rome would have been as its emperor. But perhaps if a different decision had been made on that fateful bridge, a more peaceful resolution would have been possible. One should always take care when second-guessing historical figures with the benefit of hindsight. Here in the present, there will never truly be a way for you to know how you might have acted if you had lived in the past. Nor can you ever be certain how history will remember you.